Meanwhile, we'll bring in now Tom Basile, host of America Right Now, former Bush administration official, to weigh in on what we're seeing here. So the Prop 50 ballot initiative, this has been a national conversation. It kind of got started with the governor of Texas and those supporting the redistricting efforts in Texas. Now we're seeing it in California.
Yeah, Democrats have been trying to do this, though, for a long time. Yeah. In New York, Kathy Hochul tried to toss out her independent redistricting commission. Democrats in the legislature drew their own lines in 2022. That went to the state highest court and got thrown out. So these maneuvers have been going on long before Texas did what Texas did. The challenge that Democrats have is that even if they do this in a few places, they're already so gerrymandered in places like Maryland and Illinois, and even in California. There isn't a lot of water they can squeeze out from that stone if they really think it's going to make a significant difference in 2026.
Yeah, great point. And we're already getting ahead of ourselves because we have an election today, of course, to focus on. So we'll get the results of Prop 50, but also the results of several key races across the country. President Trump is weighing in on the New York City mayoral race. He's threatening to withhold federal funding should Zoran Mamdani win. Zoran was asked about it. Here's what he had to say.
I think you can clearly see that Donald Trump is threatened by our campaign. He's threatened by it because, like we've diagnosed the crisis in working class New Yorkers' lives, the cost of living. But unlike him, we're actually going to deliver on that. And that is a contrast that he can't bear to see. Because while he is spending $300 million remodeling a White House ballroom, the same amount of money that could provide SNAP benefits for 100,000 New Yorkers, he's trying to make it harder for Americans across the country to actually afford groceries. And this money that we're talking about, it's money that New York City is owed. It's not Donald Trump's to decide which city or state will get what money. This is the money that New Yorkers are owed, and this is the money that we're going to fight for.
So what do you think, Tom, the dynamic between Washington and New York City would look like should Zoran win?
Yeah, I think that Donald Trump is going to make good on his threat. Look, New York City could very well elect a radical Islamist Marxist as its mayor. There are going to be significant consequences to that. Again, this is somebody who believes that crime is some sort of a social construct. He believes that he is the big social justice warrior challenge, that we've all sort of faced with our crime issue. He believes in open borders, and that's not going to work for Donald Trump. So expect that not only is this going to be a political fight, but it's also going to go to the courts in short order should Mamdani actually win.
Yeah, not only just what he's for, but the things that he is not for. He was not for calling on Hamas to lay down their weapons. He's not for condemning globalize the Intifada. And these are statements that really hit hard with New Yorkers and the Jewish community here in New York. I want to move to this point in essence of time. Former Vice President Dick Cheney, that news came in, has passed away at the age of 84. We know this because of his family. They released a statement this morning reading in part, quote, "The former vice president died due to complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. Dick Cheney was a great and good man who taught his children and grandchildren to love our country and to live lives of courage, honor, love, kindness, and fly fishing. We are grateful beyond measure for all Dick Cheney did for our country, and we are blessed beyond measure to have loved and been loved by this noble giant of a man. You served in the Bush administration." Just reflecting on that statement for a bit.
Yeah, look, only in America can a guy who basically fails out of Yale and digs ditches in Wyoming and works as a lineman in rural Wyoming within 15 years become the youngest White House chief of staff. We have a lot of people in our politics today who make a lot of noise and they do a lot of talking. They're kind of like, they're into the showmanship of it. That was never Dick Cheney. Whether you agreed with him or disagreed with him, he was a person of gravitas who never wanted to be the center of attention. And when he spoke, people in the room listened. And that was a great comfort to people who worked for him and with him, who worked on the campaign and in the administration, because he had such experience and such gravitas. And I think, again, whether you agreed with the prosecution of the Iraq War, for instance, or how I believe he was manipulated into, making those statements against Donald Trump in the last election or not, there is something to be learned from his long service and the way that he held himself out publicly.
Tom, thanks for sharing that. This won't be the last time our Newsmax viewers see you. Of course, you're hanging around for lots of election coverage tonight.
It'll be a long day.
I think so. Rest up now. Get the coffee in.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. See you in a bit.